Taylor Mitchell.
Present.
Joe Gooseby.
Present.
Pearl Smith.
Here.
Pam Hunt.
Here.
Jody Bullard.
Here.
Wendy Moore.
Here.
Carrington Locklear.
Here.
Larry Chavous.
Here.
Christy Hunt.
Here.
Nancy Locklear here. Yvonne Dye.
Here.
Rudy Locklear.
Here.
Kathy Hunt.
Here.
Doy McNeil.
Here.
Bobby Emanuel. Chakawana Oxendine.
Here.
Josephine Dawes.
Here.
Larry Souls.
Here.
Alex Baker. And Homer Fields.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Now I'll read the ethics statement. Yes, Mr. Bill.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Bobby tonight from the meeting.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, let it known be saying aye.
Aye.
Please. Now we'll read the ethics statement. In accordance with the Ethics and Conflict Interest Ordinance 2010-0312-01, amended March 12, 2010, it is the duty of every council member to avoid both apparent and perceived conflicts of interest with regards to any matter before council in this business meeting. If so, please refrain from participation in those deliberations. All documents that require council attention are considered confidential and shall not be disseminated until after a vote by the full council. I'd like to welcome everyone out tonight. I'd like to recognize Chairman John Lowry. I think we had the Tribal Administrator, Mr. Ricky Harris, Chief Justice, Mr. Mark Brooks, and everyone here tonight and on live screen. If I can get a review and approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
If you approve, let it known be by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes. All right, next we'll move down to review and approval of the April Tribal Council minutes and actions.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Let it known by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll move right down to the presentations. We have Mr. Caden Ryan Thompson, if you would, come to the podium. You want to read his bio? You got it. So, Mr. Ryan is the author. He wrote Henry, The Battle of Hayes Pond, and Graduation Chronicles. Mr. Ryan, if you could just give us a bio about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Caden Ryan Thompson. I'm 18 years old. I just want to start off by saying I would like to thank God for the blessings that have led me to this point. It's a huge honor speaking before y'all, and I want to thank you all for the work that you do. So going way back to kindergarten, I remember not necessarily seeing myself represented in media as a Lumbee, and that is what drove me to become an author. In middle school, I was in Beta Club, I was in Student Government Association, and I was also in Indian American Student Association. So in American Indian Student Association, we would go on field trips to the museum in Raleigh, and I don't know if any of you know Mr. Kenny, but he took us on the field trip. I was lucky enough to go on it twice in 7th and 8th grade. And during that field trip, I learned a lot about Henry Berry Lowry, the Battle of Hayes Pond, and just our culture and our history that I had never learned in school up to that point. And I was very inspired. So from that, I just kind of started writing about Henry Berry Lowry. You know, he's actually my great-great-great-great-grandfather. And so I had kind of heard about him, you know, growing up. But going into his story myself, I learned so much that I hadn't learned. During the summer of going into my 9th grade year, I was cast in Strike at the Wind, where I've portrayed Wesley and Calvin Oxendine for the past 6 years. And so that, you know, has also given me some insight into Henry Berry Lowry. And I was also accepted into Robinson Early College High School. During that time, I kind of had to shift focus, and I couldn't continue writing the book that I had, you know, started writing. Up until March 2020, you know, when the world was put on pause due to COVID, it allowed me time to write, and not only to write, but to research. So I continued writing, and then eventually in August 2020, I had finished what is now my novel, Henry. after that, I kind of, put it out, did the best I could on social media, trying to promote the book. And then in early 2021, I lost two of the most important people in my life. My grandfather and my great-grandmother both passed away in January of 2021. And that kind of pushed me away from my authorial career. And also my coursework at RCC picked up, and I just wasn't able to focus on it as much until November 2023, when I took an art class at Early College. It was my last high school class, and our last assignment was to just create something. She told us to create something using what we had learned in the art class. So I kind of sketched out this cover, and looking at it, I was like, this has to be something more than just a drawing. So I kind of started writing poems, and eventually, after about a week, I have written 28 poems that comprise this book that captures my entire journey from kindergarten up until now. And on the back cover, going back to what I was saying earlier, is a photograph of me on my very first day of school. I like to show that to the kids whenever I go out to different public schools here in Robeson County, just to let them know that they can do anything. And so I was able to do that, and I went out to schools and did several events for that book. And then at the beginning of the year, I kind of sat down with myself and talked to myself about what I wanted this year to be for me and what I wanted to do for my community. And so I really wanted to write another novel. I didn't know what I wanted it to be about, so I went to the Museum of the Southeast Indian here at UNCP and kind of just looked at the different exhibits that they had on display, took pictures of a few of them, and went back home and was looking through, and the one that I felt the most draw to was the Battle of Hayes Pond. So I kind of researched for a couple of days, about 5 or 6 days, using different interviews that people who were there have done, different archives that I was able to find online. And after that, I just started writing. And after about a month, I had completed the Battle of Hayes Pond. It was very different than writing Henry. Just the way that it came together was much quicker. It was like I was just a vessel for this story to flow onto the pages. And so since then, I've gone out, I've talked to different schools, and I finished my associates in science at RCC last week. I graduated last Wednesday. I graduate high school tomorrow, so I kind of got a lot going on. And moving forward, I'm going to UNCW to pursue my bachelor's in criminal justice with the ultimate goal of becoming a lawyer. As you all know, we have a lot of, criminal justice, we have a need for criminal justice here in Robeson County. So being able to serve my community, whether it be in Wilmington or here, I want to be able to serve it in any way I can, and I think that that's another way that I can. And so with all that being said, I want to thank you all again for your time. I do have copies of the books if anyone would like to speak about them or see them. And thank you all once again.
Hold on. Mr. Caden. Come back to the podium. So what district are you in?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not sure.
Now, what road do you stay on?
I live in Mayfair.
Okay, so that would be Miss Pam and Mr. Harold. Yeah, if you'd come down, yeah, that'd be District 3. Yeah, and Chairman, if you'd come up too.
Thank you all again.
Mr. Thompson, I would dare say, if you've done all this before you graduated high school, praise God, I'm looking forward to you graduating college.
Next up, we have Mr. Brandon Locklear. He is the head coach recipient of the year at Hope County, Miss Chakawana's district. Do you have something you want to say before? Okay. There, be fine.
So what an honor and privilege it is to be here to represent Mr. Brandon Locklear. When I walked in and saw his support and his village and his family, it really touched my heart. I had some tribal council members say, Chakawanda, half of Hope County's here. So that tells you something about this person. His family, both sides of his family, the Locklear family and the Jacobs side, are pillars in our Hope County community. They are supportive. They have instilled, his entire family have instilled good ethics and morals in him. He's a wonderful person. He has won numerous awards, accolades. He works at our high school. He has built a rapport with our students. He loves his job, and his students love him. He really has the heart of a leader, and he has done great things, and he will continue to do great things. I have had the pleasure to work with him in different capacities on different committees. And Brandon, thank you for all you do for Hope County. As you can see, I think he may have some students here. He has his wife, his children, grandparents, aunts and uncles. Representative Garland Pierce, who's our North Carolina House representative, is here tonight. Miss Elaine Brayboy, our Register of Deeds in Hope County, is here. So that tells you the kind of support system he has and kind of wonderful things that he does for Hope County. So it's an honor and a privilege for us to recognize you tonight for everything you've done and for being the head coach in Hope County at Hope County High School. Thank you.
Would you like to say something?
Sorry, y'all, I ain't never been up here before. I just want to say real quick, I appreciate everything that she said, but like the young man stated earlier, one, I want to give all the glory to God for, one, allowing me to be in a position to be able to and just influence in so many people's lives. And it's amazing to see so many people here supporting you. And I just really appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to come out here and just be acknowledged. It means the world to be acknowledged by your own people. And I just really appreciate that.
And just a reminder before we move to the next presentation that we do not allow any recording in the chambers. I should have made that announcement to begin with. Thank you. So next up we have Miss Twyla Allen. she would come to the podium. I'm going to let Miss Pam read a little something about her before.
Good evening. Another outstanding individual from District 3. Woohoo. So, Miss Susan LaFollette Black, a member of the Board of Directors of NCAO, recently traveled to Pembroke to present the Rockstar Award to Twyla Chavis Allen, Aging Program Administrator at Lumber River Council of Governments. This award honors a chief executive or administrative officer for the quality of leadership and organizational management they provide to the organization and to the aging network across the state of North Carolina. And I would just like to add that, they say God don't make mistakes. So I feel like that the reason that Twyla is in the position she in was no accident. She has a great passion for the elderly, and she does a marvelous job at what she does.
No, Miss Twyla, if you want to come back and say a little something, we're going to present you with something as well.
I will speak to it. This is a great honor. There should have been a test. Thank you so much. It's a great honor to be recognized by the Lumbee Tribal Council. I come to Pam's district by the way of Little Wakulla, North Carolina. Very proud to say I live there. I've been a social worker for 26 years, and it's been an honor to serve in the capacity of serving older adults that whole 26 years. Our staff, we provide a wealth of services. I've been to many of your council meetings. We work directly with the tribal staff here to make sure that the elders are aware of the services that we do offer. Representative Garland Pierce, we also work closely in our aging services. He's a great advocate for older adults, and I'm just privileged to be a representative, one of 16 AAA directors in the state of North Carolina that gets to do this job. So thank you.
Right. If you'd like to step right here, Mr. Brad, we'd have you to step up here as well.
Go ahead. All right, 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
All right. And before we move down to the chairman's report, I want to let everyone know that the pottery pieces tonight were made by the Pembroke Boys and Girls Club. And I failed to recognize Mr. Garland Pierce as the representative. All right, thank you. Something you have to do it. I can't do it.
I'd like to make a motion that we recognize Mr. Alex Baker as being present tonight.
All right. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank y'all for having me. I hope to only be up here a few minutes, as you guys always tell me to speed up. We got some great news this week. We found out that with the president's budget that he recently signed off on, that Congress passed, we are getting a 40% increase in our HUD funding. That 40% increase, that 40% increase comes out to $10 million extra for our tribe. And we will, of course, we're going to start working on my budget that I'm going to propose to you guys. I can tell you right off the top, my priorities with that is down payment assistance, new home ownership, homes for new home ownership, and also buying land. So those are going to be my three priorities. At the same time, it also allows you all, we have a number of different priorities that's going to come from this council, and we have opportunity to include those priorities as well. So this is a great time for our tribe. This is a great time for us to know that that we've been entrusted with $10 million extra dollars. And you all know, like I know, a lot of times, you know, word on the street is that things aren't properly done right, but we know that that's different because we know what we're spending our money on. We know the homes that are being built. We know the ribbon cuttings that we attend. We know the lives that we're changing each and every day here at this tribe. And to know that we're going to have $10 million more to go into spending towards safe and secure and better homes for our people, it's a tremendous day for our people. So I look forward to taking that $10 million and putting it with our proposed budget. You all, we have, I think my proposed budget last year was $38 million. Since that budget, we've gotten, and I know, over $10 million just in grant funding, and now we got another $10 million coming in. So think about it. In less than a year, we've increased our budget by $20 million. That doesn't happen because people are sitting around doing nothing. It happens because people are working. And once again, you guys, you know, I just want to thank y'all. Thank y'all for what you do. Thank you for your leadership for this tribe. Thank you for your vision and your creativeness and your innovation for us and our people. And I do want to give a shout out to our staff who's worked real hard to make sure that we continue to get funding coming in here. And I'm telling you, 2024, going into 2025, we're going to get additional funding as well. So you all know Dr. Bees is working on a number of grant programs. Karen and the other grant writing staff are working on others. So we're rocking and rolling. I mean, regardless of your politics, regardless of how you might feel about me or how you might feel about the person beside you or how you might feel about whatever, y'all, this is a great time to be here in these seats. This is a tremendous time. Our ancestors are probably smiling down on us saying, man, that's what we wanted. We wanted our people to be in this position one day. And you know what? We've done all of this without full federal recognition. And just like today, I had a call from another federal tribe wanting our help with our Boys and Girls Clubs. Our help. So, you know, and that's just a testament to our people. So, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you. I want to announce something that's going to be historic. I know the speaker has shared it with you all. We are going to be moving into a government-to-government relationship, a formal and official government-to-government relationship with our brothers and sisters in the Catawba Nation. This is the first time that we have done something like this. Matter of fact, Indian country doesn't really do this. You know, they don't really enter into agreements with other tribes. But I want to read what the principal goals are with this relationship. To affirm and support each other's sovereignty and well-being of each other's peoples. To recognize that we are Siouan relatives with an obligation to care for each other. To secure full federal recognition for the Lumbee tribe, as well as to remove anti-sovereignty provisions in the Catawba Land Claim Settlement Act, and to increase cultural and economic prosperity for both nations, and to build an enduring relationship of mutual support and protection. The objective of this agreement is to formalize and establish a partnership between our two nations, which will be characterized by mutual cooperation and objectives that will stand the test of time. Both nations commit to convening annually to review and reaffirm this partnership, thereby commemorating the enduring collaboration of the two nations. The Catawba and the Lumbee tribal nations summit shall be hosted alternately on the respective lands of each nation, with the location varying each year to ensure a balanced and inclusive approach. further ensuring the nation's commitments to maintaining a vital and harmonious relationship between the two. You all, this is once again a historic document. This is a historic time. I have worked closely with Chief Brian Harris. As you all know, I do have the constitutional right to work with other tribes, with other governments, but I also think that, you know, as I've tried to from the very beginning, tried to include you guys. Well, I've never included you guys on this because we ain't never done nothing like this. So this is the first time, and I want you all to sign off on it. I want you all to give your blessings to this because it is saying that we will convene and we will come together as two tribes annually. So, and listen, we worked on this agreement, me and Chief Harris, Chief Brian Harris. We worked on this agreement, his lawyers, his lawyer Lydia Locklear, and Danielle worked with us on this, and also Matt did as well. And this is just a great opportunity for our two tribes. It builds a lasting and, like it says, harmonious relationship. We are brothers and sisters. We are relatives. And this is going to be something good as we move forward. So, Mr. Speaker, I would ask that you all entertain a motion to accept this agreement and to pass a resolution of support. And I want to work with you and Chief Brian Harris and his executive committee to let's have a signing ceremony in the month of June. With that, I conclude my time.
Ms. Pam?
Mr. Speaker, I offer a motion that we accept and support this intergovernmental agreement between the Catawbas and the Lumbees.
Is there any discussion? Right. So we will do a roll call vote.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Alice Baker.
Yes.
Larry Souls.
Yes.
Josephine Dawes.
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine.
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel. I ain't got to keep on calling him Dewey McNeil.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear.
Yes.
Yvonne Dye.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Wendy Moore.
Yes.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Harold Smith.
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby.
Yes.
Grayla Mitchell.
Yes.
Billy Oxendine.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Chairman, for the hard work with the Catawba Nation. It's a great day to be Lumbee. So now we'll move on down to committee reports. We'll start with Constitution and Ordinance. Mr. Rudy Locklear.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you as well, Mr. Chairman, for your hard work in that treaty. So, Constitution and Ordinance Committee has been quite busy the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, trying to move forward with some of our appointments to our boards and our commissions. So we've had our work cut out for us. So tonight we have quite a few items we need to get through in terms of committee appointments, commission appointments, and so on. So the first appointment we have is actually a reappointment to the Commission of Indian Affairs. This appointment is actually a holdover, but the individual holding the seat is coming up for reappointment. So I will start at the second whereas Article 8 of Section 1 of the Tribal Constitution delegates all legislative authority to the Tribal Council of Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, whereas the Tribal Council of Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina is required to make nominations to the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs, whereas the Constitution Committee of the Tribal Council of Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina has nominated Mr. Laurice Hunt, and therefore be it resolved, the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby support and agree on the nomination and reappointment of Mr. Laurice Hunt to the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs. Therefore, be it further resolved, Laurice Hunt will serve a 3-year term beginning, as I mentioned earlier, he is a holdover, beginning July 1 of 2023, representing the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs District 1, which makes up Districts 1, 2, 3, 9, and 14, on the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs, which will expire on June 30th, 2026. Speaker.
Coming from committee does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Bullard?
Mr. Speaker, since we do have 2 commission votes on the ballot tonight, can we do a blanket vote on both?
No, sir, because it's individual appointments.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes. Turn your mic on, Mr. Bill, so we can get a clear statement of what you're saying.
I'd like to make a substitute motion for Jeannie Lowry for District Commissioner Indian Affairs.
I second that.
All right, since there's a substitute motion and a second, if I'm not wrong, we got to vote on the substitute motion and then move to the
Right.
motion. All right, discussion.
I think the motion's inappropriate to, we are actually voting on a different district with Larice. Is Jenny in the same?
District, Jeannie represents District 9. It falls
I'm
under
good.
District 1, the
Okay.
commission.
All right, I'll pass.
Right, any other discussion before we do a roll call vote? And so we are voting, to make it clear that you are voting for Miss Jeannie.
Yes.
All right. All right, Miss Nancy, we do a roll call.
Palmer Fields.
No.
Alex Baker.
Yes.
Larry Souls.
No.
Josephine Dawes. No. Chakawana Oxenine.
Yes.
By Dewey McNeil.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear.
Yes.
Yvonne Dahl.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
No.
Wendy Moore.
No.
Jody Bullard. Pam Hunt.
No.
Harold Smith. Gerald Gooseby. Graylin Mitchell.
No.
Billy Oxenine.
Yes.
It's 10 to 10. Downstairs.
Call the vote out.
Ten yes. 10 no.
So that's a tie. So it's done. All right, so we'll move back to the first motion now. All right, so now we're moving back to the original motion that's on the floor. It does not require a second. So now we're voting for Mr. Reese Hunt to be appointed to the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs. Is there any discussion before we do a roll call vote? Mr. Hurley.
And mind the council that this appointment is going on 10 months before we've put someone in the seat. Think about that and the reflection it puts upon this council.
Any more discussions before we do a roll call vote?
I have a comment. I just want to say that, of all the appointees that we have on the commission, Larice is the only one that actually does what we asked him to do. So just think about that when you vote.
All right, roll call, Miss Nancy. Start down there.
Palmer Fields.
Yes.
Alex Baker,
No.
Larry Sauls,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes.
Yes.
Chakawana Oxnine. Dory McNeil.
No.
Kathy Hunt.
No.
Rudy Locklear.
Yes.
Yvonne Dye. Nancy Locklear. Yes. Yes. Christy Hunt.
No.
Larry Chavis.
No.
Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Wendy Moore.
Yes.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Harold Smith. Gerald Gooseby.
Yes.
Grayla Mitchell.
Yes.
Billy Oxnine.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, 8 no's.
Congratulations, Mr. Larice. If you'll hang out until we get done with these other appointments, we'll swear you in.
I hate to be the one to even bring it up because it's been so long, but it takes 2/3 vote.
It does not.
I thought the ordinance said in the last 2 people that we did. I'm all in favor, don't misread me. I'm just saying I don't want to be procedurally wrong.
That's if you are bringing a substitute motion.
Let's hold on a minute. Miss,
I mean, Jean's dead, so I don't know. I thought it was on this one. It's 2:30. Cause it was 10 to 10. And I went, cause I'm fed up with this, keep on bringing.
let's hold on a second. We have a hired attorney. And what does the ordinance say?
I was saying the table to vote, we can come back to it, I'll have you an answer.
All right, next we have Constitution and Ordinance, Mr. Rudy Locklear.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There again, as I mentioned earlier, we do have quite a number of commission appointments to get through. So this is another appointment that is coming up. Actually, it expires in July. This is for the Commission of Indian Affairs as well. So starting at the fourth, whereas the Constitution Committee of the Tribal Council of Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina has nominated Dr. Leslie A. Locklear, and therefore be it resolved, the Tribal Council of Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby support and agree on the nomination of Dr. Leslie Locklear to the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs. Therefore be it further resolved, Dr. Leslie Locklear will serve a 3-year term representing the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs District 2, Tribal Council Districts 4, 6, 8, 10, and 13 on the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs, which will begin on July 1st, 2024, and will expire on June 30th of 2027. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Locklear. Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion before we do a roll call vote?
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Mr. Chavis.
I'd like to make a substitute motion to add Preacher Ricky Burnett back to this appointment.
Second.
So we have a substitute motion on the floor to add Mr. Ricky Burnett back to the ballot again. It was second by Mr. Alex Baker. Any discussion before we do a roll call vote? Yeah. So, just so we make sure, this vote that's coming up for the substitute motion is that we are putting Mr. Ricky Burnett back on the ballot for North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs. Roll call, Miss Nancy.
Palmer Fields.
Yes.
Palmer Fields. Alice Baker.
Yes.
Larry Souls.
Yes.
Josephine Dawes.
No.
Chakawana Oxenine.
No.
Bobby, Dewey McNeil.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear.
No.
Yvonne Daw. Nancy Locklear, yes. Kathy Hunt. Christy Hunt. I'm going backwards, that's the reason why. She said what?
Yes.
Larry Chavez.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
No.
Wendy Moore.
No.
Jody Bullard.
No.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Harold Smith.
No.
Gerald Gooseby.
Abstain.
Grayla Mitchell.
Yes.
Billy Oxenine.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 and 9. I have 10 yeses, 9 noes, and 1 is abstaining. So the motion.
So, in this case,
Same thing.
Mr. Parliamentarian, does this require a simple majority or 2/3 vote?
Mr. Speaker, we're waiting on lawyer Daniel to get the correct information for us.
Mr. Joe, turn your mic off for a moment. With all due respect, Mr. Bill, when you was elected parliamentarian, you're supposed to know the procedures that goes on in a business meeting.
You're correct, but the lawyer knew more than I know.
Mr. Speaker, due to the previous vote we just done was supermajority, correct? And this is the same.
But see, the substitute motion was a tie, so we went back to the original motion, which is a simple majority.
Okay.
So, Mr. Attorney, we just had a substitute motion to put Mr. Ricky Burnett back on the ballot, and it was 10 yeses and 9 noes. So since it's a substitute motion, does that require a simple majority or a 2/3 vote?
Simple majority.
Question, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, you was talking about putting back on the ballot would be simple majority. Voting to confirm, the understanding I got in the way we did it, because this is why we're in that mess now with being 10 months of appointing somebody, we said it required 2/3 vote when we tried to appoint last time, and now we doing it again. We want to change the rules as we go, but putting back on the ballot's different than affirming or confirming.
Appreciate it, though.
To put him back on the ballot would be a simple majority. To confirm for an appointment is 2/3 per the ordinance. So any appointment to your commissions or anything has to be by 2/3 vote.
Including the first one that we did with Larice Hunt.
Yes, that has to be 2/3. Any appointment or commission that's not constitutionally mandated, its affiliate requires 2/3. So yes, the first vote with Mr. Larice would require 2/3, and to approve Mr. Burnett would be 2/3. Now to put him back on the ballot, simple majority.
Okay. So let's make this clear. The motion was to put Ricky back on the ballot for commission. That requires a simple majority. He got the simple majority. So since that passes, what do we do with Miss Leslie from the appoint that was moved up from committee? So do we go back and we go around the table and we state who we want for that seat?
So now you have two people competing for the same position, right?
Yeah.
You vote on them.
And that requires 2/3 to be moved up.
To approve.
To approve. Okay. Miss Pam.
So, and I get that just because you've always done something a certain way doesn't mean it's correct. However, all the appointments we've made thus far, when it come out of committee, anything we brought out of committee is simple majority. So we're not asking to be putting him back on the ballot. So I'm confused. Because there was a difference in a substitute motion and an original motion, so clarify.
We're going, Mr. Bill, and then we're going to a vote.
Mr. Summer, Pam is incorrect. It wasn't a simple majority coming out of committee. It was a close vote, so it wasn't a majority vote coming out of committee.
Okay, all right. So what we're voting on now, between Miss Leslie Locklear and Mr. Ricky Burnett. So when your name is called, you state who you want for that seat. And let me make this clear. Whoever it is, whether it be Miss Leslie or Mr. Ricky, they require 2/3 of the seat in council.
Yes.
And how many would that be out of 20 members? I'm asking the attorney.
If you round it up to the next whole number, so it would be 14.
All right, we just wanted to make it clear so we're not confused on 2/3 vote.
That's the form. And then you ain't got everybody here.
Okay. I wanted it to be stated so they'll know. Okay, so now we're voting. Is there any discussion before we do the voting? Yes, Mr. Locklear.
So, you know, folks, it's getting to be, and I'm trying not to be ugly, but as chairman of this committee, the Constitutional Ordinance Committee that's handling all these interviews, I have 18 people on that committee. 18 out of 21, which is more than a 2/3 vote to get out of committee. If you're not going to come to these committee meetings and sit in here and interview these folks, get off my committee. Get off my committee. We interviewed these folks. They came out of committee. We barely got enough to have that committee meeting. We had to have at least 12 out of 18. And I know folks have things going on. And we've had that conversation. I've been down that road with y'all. If you're not going to come to these committee meetings, you're wasting these people's time and you're embarrassing us. We're not going to get a 2/3 vote on either one of these commission seats tonight, I promise you. So you need to think about it. And if we need to table this until another meeting, where y'all can think long and hard about the message we're sending to the commission and to our folks, it's making us look bad, folks. And I'm sorry, and I don't want to be ugly, but you know, we're about to go back around this table and vote on people that I think were highly qualified when they came out of committee, and I think they're highly qualified today. But everybody has their own little agenda as to why they want to vote for this person, why they want to vote for that person. But keep in mind, folks are watching us on live stream. We've got people in this chamber, and when they leave out of here, what do you want them to say about this council when they leave here and how we operate? Because the message I can tell you that I can hear people saying is we're a bunch of, we're lost. We're confused. We're unorganized. We're unprofessional. So, Mr. Speaker, I make a motion that we table these nominations for these 2 commission seats. And then I'll reconvene another commission, Constitution Ordinance Committee meeting with these 2 people for these 2 seats. And then all 18 people on that committee needs to be there. And we can talk about it and decide how you want to move forward on these seats.
Mr. Locklear, we already have a motion on the floor, so we'd have to.
Well, I make a substitute motion that we table Commission District Seat 1 to Commission District Seat 2 and send them back to committee.
I second.
Which one? We didn't get 2/3 vote on it. It's been tabled.
No, he didn't get 2/3 vote, so he lost. That's the end of that. That's not, that's what goes back to me. The first one has been dispelled of. They lost. They did not get to 2/3. That's done. There's no, that is no longer on the floor to be returned back to committee. The only thing that can be returned back to the committee is the one that is before us. We vote on that, either go back to committee or we vote and we have no one and we can discuss how we want to move forward. My suggestion is we stop bringing the same names forward and we bring someone else new. We are obviously a year later not going to have consensus, particularly against that one. People are just too dug in.
All right. So, do you want to repeat your substitute motion? Excluding the first commission seat.
I'll withdraw my motion. We'll vote on it. If it dies on the floor here, then we'll start back over again at the next committee meeting.
All right. We got a motion on the floor. We're going to do a roll call. Miss Nancy Locklear.
Mr. Chairman.
This is going to be the last discussion, Mr. Bill.
Repeat the motion, please.
So now we're voting on commission seat district number 2. Either Miss Leslie Locklear or Mr. Ricky Burnett. So when your name is called, you state the person you want. He withdrew.
I don't know.
All right, roll call.
Homer Fields.
Ricky Burnett.
Alex Baker.
Ricky Burnett.
Larry Souls.
Leslie Locklear.
Josephine Dawes. Chakawana Otsenine.
Dr. Leslie Locklear.
Doy McNeil.
Ricky Burnett.
Kathy Hunt.
Ricky Burnett.
Rudy Locklear.
Dr. Locklear.
Yvonne Dahl.
Dr. Leslie Locklear.
Nancy Locklear. Ricky Burnett. Christy Hunt.
Mr. Ricky Burnett.
Larry Chavis.
Mr. Ricky Burnett.
Carrington Locklear.
Dr. Locklear.
Wendy Moore.
Dr. Leslie Locklear.
Jody Bullard.
Dr. Locklear.
Pam Hunt.
Ricky Burnett.
Harold Smith. Joe Gooseby.
Abstain.
Oh my God, let's see if it's good to that committee. Grayla Mitchell.
Ricky Burnett.
Billy Otsenine.
Dr. Locklear.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did you hear me say 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Same, how did that happen?
Call your vote out.
Is that right?
Because he abstained.
Call your vote out. It's 10 to 9, 1 abstention.
So Leslie got 10 this time?
You got to have 2/3.
So she got shoot 1,
10 and 9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? 9?
Mr. Speaker,
Hold on a minute.
I was going to
That was
report
9.
votes announced.
Yeah.
Call the vote out.
Dr. Leslie Locklear, 10, 10. Ricky Burnett, 9. 1 abstain.
So that is, it dies because of 2/3 vote.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes,
question.
Mr. Goodspeed.
Did I understand correctly that we wouldn't bring, is that what you said? We wouldn't bring these names back up? Is that what you said?
He withdrew the motion.
Was that a,
He withdrew the motion.
I didn't make that as a motion. I just said, you know, I heard some passion in the room. My suggestion is that we consider others, particularly with that one. We have been dug in 9 months, long enough to germinate a child and give birth. It seems that we are dug in 10-10. If we want to build consensus and move forward, my recommendation for us to consider is we find some folks that we can build that consensus on. But right now, we're not going to move forward with that nominee, with those, particularly the first one, with those 2 nominees. That's why I didn't nominate the second person, the person I nominated the first time. I did not nominate her the second.
Mr. Bullard.
So are we in fairness of saying both seats, or are we going to go negotiate with one?
Yeah. Mr. Locklear, then we're moving down to the next business item.
So just keep in mind, and I probably need to confer with Mr. Richardson with the commission, I don't think we can not consider the people that are already being considered. I mean, I guess we can do whatever we want to do, but by the statute that I've read that Mr. Richardson provided me is that Mr. Larice and Mr. Burnett will hold over in those seats into their field. So technically, I'm assuming then they will be considered at the next vote because they're already in the seat. So it's technically renomination or nominate somebody else. Mr. Locklear, does that sound about right?
Right now, it's all done. You're back at square one. You're going to renominate, go back through your process, and bring more people before the council.
Yeah, but what I was saying is these 2 individuals still stay on the commission. They don't come off the commission.
They're going to remain holdovers, and that's outside of, unless you have 2/3 vote to remove them. That's a process in your ordinance to remove them. So it requires 2/3 to remove them. But moving forward, what we've effectively done is put us back in square one with a nominating process to go back before the Constitution and Ordinance Committee, and we're square one. Start over.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
One last,
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
I'm raising my hand.
just one last thing I would like to say before we move out of this item is that I would like to get some consensus on interviewing. We need to know whether we're going to interview these folks again that have already interviewed, or we're not going to interview them again, but still consider them. So are we not considering them again, or we're?
First of all, this is a business meeting. That is a committee question. So you can email us tonight after this business meeting, but this will not take place now for that. Gerald.
My comment was going to be along with what Daniel said. According to Greg, the current appointees will serve until we appoint another and give them the letter, period. We don't have to consider Billy Bob or Joe Don or whoever. If they just serve until we appoint either the same people or somebody else, the way it goes.
Right. Mr. Locklear, we're moving down to the next item on the agenda.
The next item on our Constitution Ordinance Committee, or from our Constitution Ordinance Committee, was our appointment to the Lumbee Tribal Enterprises or Lumbee Tribe Enterprises LLC Board. So starting at second whereas, Article 7, Section 1 of the Tribal Constitution delegates legislative authority to the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, and whereas the Lumbee Tribal Council has budget oversight power, and whereas the Lumbee Tribal Council has the power to enact legislation to appropriate funds for operation of the tribal government, and whereas the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, in accordance with CLLO 2011-0421-09, approved the establishment of a for-profit tribally owned company to pursue 8A certification, whereas the entity entitled Lumbee Tribe Enterprises LLC is that company of which the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina owns 100% of the stock, and whereas the bylaws of the Lumbee Tribe Enterprises LLC includes an appointment to the Board of Directors by the Lumbee Tribal Council, therefore be it resolved, the Lumbee Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina hereby appoints Mr. Josh E. Locklear to the Board of Directors of Lumbee Tribe Enterprises LLC for such a term as is stated in the bylaws, documents of said entity for 15 years.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion before we do a roll call vote? Roll call, Miss Nancy.
Homer Fields,
Yes.
Alex Baker,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine,
Yes.
Dewey McNeil,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Yvonne Dye,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavis,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith, Gerald Gooseby.
Yes.
What? Graylin Mitchell,
Yes.
Billy Oxendine.
Yes.
Praise God, motion passed. Thank you, amen.
All right.
There's no trouble with that.
Mr. Josh Locklear, Mr. Joshua Michael will be getting up with you and start the bidding process for clearance for LTE. Congratulations. Next, Mr. Locklear.
Who's this?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If they were all that easy.
Amen.
The next item coming out of committee for consideration is the election board appointment. Make sure I'm looking at that right. The next item coming out of committee for consideration is the Supreme Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. And I'll start at the third whereas. Whereas the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina authorizes the tribal chairperson and the tribal council to make appointments or nominations and appointments to the Supreme Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. Whereas the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina authorizes the tribal council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina to appoint the nominee. And therefore be it resolved, the tribal council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby confirm the nominee, Dr. Paul Nelson Locklear, to the Supreme Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. Therefore be it even further resolved, upon the swearing in of Dr. Paul Nelson Locklear, he will serve a 5-year term on the Supreme Court, which will expire on June 16, 2029.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion before we do a roll call vote? Roll call, Miss Nancy.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Alex Baker,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine,
Yes.
Dewey McNeil,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Yvonne Dahl,
No.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavis,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith, Gerald Gooseby, Lord Jesus, Grayla Mitchell,
No.
Billy Ottenstein.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 yes, 2 no's. Motion carries.
Congratulations, Mr. Hall. So when Mr. Locklear does this last appointment to the election board, do you want to go ahead and do the swearing in then? Mr. Brooks? Okay, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The next item coming out of committee is the election board appointment, and then we have a ordinance to review. If you remember, this was the seat for an individual who had resigned from the election board to ensure that this person received a full term on the election board. They resigned their position as an alternate and subsequently needed a resolution to ensure they've got their full appointment. So starting at third whereas the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina authorizes the tribal chairman and tribal council to make nominations and confirm the nominees to the election board of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. Whereas the tribal council created an ordinance defining election boards districts. Whereas Millicent Brewer was nominated for District 1, which is tribal districts 5, 7, and 11, as board members to serve on the election board of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, and therefore be it resolved, the tribal council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby support the nomination and appointment of Millicent Brewer to the tribal elections board to represent tribal districts 5, 7, and 11. Millicent Brewer will serve a 6-year term, which will expire on May the 16th, 2030.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion before we do a roll call vote? Miss Nancy?
Homer Fields,
Yes.
Alex Baker,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes,
Yes.
Chakawana Ottenstein,
Yes.
Bobby Dewey McNeil,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Yvonne Dye,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavez.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith, Gerald Gooseby.
Yes.
All right. Grayla Mitchell,
Yes.
Billy Ottenstein.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Is Miss Millicent here tonight? Is she in the audience? Okay. All right. Now we have Dr. Locklear come up and Chief Justice Mark Brooks administer the oath for the Supreme Court for the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina.
Jesus, this is.
Thank you, Chairman Lowry, for the nomination. Thank you, Council, for the confirmation. Thank you, Dr. Locklear, for agreeing to serve. If you would raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, that I will carry out faithfully and impartially the duties of my office to the best of my ability, that I will preserve for all time the Lumbee way of life and community, that I will promote educational, cultural, social, and economic well-being of the Lumbee tribe, and that I will strive to secure justice and freedom for the Lumbee people. Congratulations.
Yeah, hey, y'all get that one. Put John right, y'all get that John second. Get one by yourself, please. What district are you in? Everything's silver. Y'all gonna take a picture? I'm glad it ain't mine, I still got her food. Hey, sweetheart.
At least you'll say.
Hey, Miss Lee guys like this behind. I couldn't get up there.
All right, we're moving down to the last business for Constitution ordinance. Mr. Locklear.
Thank you, sir. So the last item on our Constitution Ordinance Committee section here was an ordinance we brought back at our last Constitution Ordinance Committee meeting. It had to deal with modifying the ordinance to ensure we were in compliance with some of our laws. So this is CLLO 2019-0221, authorizing the recording, archiving, and live broadcast of tribal council meetings. So I will start with the therefore, and for those who are not aware of what was changed, I'll point that out. So therefore, nothing else is changed but this section. So therefore, be it resolved, the Tribal Council, Lumbee Tribe, North Carolina, in an effort to provide greater transparency, increased member awareness, and involvement, does hereby approve the recording, archiving, and live broadcasts by tribal administration of its tribal council meetings, special called and emergency called meetings, not to include tribal council committee meetings, and this section, which was added, which shall be authorized by virtual usage ordinance, CLLO 2023-1221-01. So that's the only section was added. Prior it said did not have that there. Persons attending any meeting of the tribal council are not permitted to record or broadcast any tribal council meetings.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Bullard?
I may have weren't listening to him, but what did you say changed on the ordinance?
So the only item, the wording that changed in this ordinance is the section I just read. So if you get to, it says meetings not to include tribal council committee meetings, And the next section, and actually there was a period there. So what was added is which shall be authorized by virtual uses ordinance CLO 2023. So that's the only section we added. So for those who were not at the committee meetings, an explanation of that is the virtual usage ordinance is different than what is outlined in this ordinance, which is live broadcast. So we included the ordinance, the virtual usage ordinance in here to ensure that there's no confusion as to live broadcast and virtual, because those are two different things.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Nancy.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Alex Baker.
Yes.
Larry Souls. Josephine Dawes.
Yes.
Chakawan Oxnine.
Yes.
Dory McNeil.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear. Yvonne Dahl. Nancy Locklear, no. I might presume anyway. Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Wendy Moore.
No.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Harold Smith.
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby.
Nancy, yes.
Grayla Mitchell.
Yes.
Billy Oxnine.
Yes.
Motion passed. Motion carries, amount.
Thank you. Moving right along to the next business is finance, Ms. Pam Hunt.
Good evening. Our first ordinance is fiscal year October 1, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, Lumbee Tribal Ordinance. And this is the, I think, third amendment. What we're doing is we received some, we're taking money, from the HVAC, heating and air line item, and putting it into the rehabilitation item. We needed more funds there. So all the monies that were moved was $136,033. I'm sorry, this was additional monies we got, so we're putting it in there. And all the monies was put into the Crisis Intervention Program, better known as LIHEAP. So I'll read from the third whereas. Whereas the Tribal Council has the authority to approve, enact, and amend the annual fiscal year budget and budget process. And whereas the Tribal Council is responsible for oversight and review of all budget components. And whereas the Tribal Council has the authority and fiduciary responsibility to ensure compliance with program funding and allocations, and therefore it be enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance cited as fiscal year October 1, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, Lumbee Tribal Budget Ordinance amended, subject to all inclusions and provisions.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion before we do a roll call vote?
Clarification, the votes for both items, correct? Thank you.
Ms. Nancy.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Alex Baker.
Yes.
Larry Souls.
Yes.
Josephine Dawes.
Yes.
Chakawan Oxnine.
Yes.
Dory McNeil.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear.
Yes.
Yvonne Dahl.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear. Yes. Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Raylan Mitchell,
Yes.
Billy Oxenine.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we're moving up next, Miss Pam.
The next ordinance is Tribal Powwow 2024 budget. And we have a budgeted amount of $161,000. The money will come from projected revenues such as ticket sales and entry fees and that type thing. It's not money we're moving. Okay, so that money is allocated as following: $31,325 for supplies, $2,000 for utilities, $14,000 for outreach, $3,500 for travel, $37,000 for contractual services, and $73,175 for budget powwow expense. And I'll read from the fifth whereas. Whereas the Tribal Council has the authority and fiduciary responsibility to ensure compliance with program funding allocations, and therefore be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be cited as the Tribal Powwow 2024 budget, subject to all inclusions and provisions.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion before we do a roll call? Miss Kathy?
Explain to me outreach.
So outreach can be a number of things. It can be putting out the flyers for that. It can be advertising, getting the word out that we're having a powwow and when it's going to be. Contractual services are usually the dancers, what is paid to the dancers who are in competition. Yes. Porta potties, exactly. Security, there's a number of things that go into that 70-some thousand.
All right, roll call.
Homer Fields,
Yes.
Alex Baker,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxenine,
Yes.
Dory McNeil,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Yvonne Dye,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavis,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Grayla Mitchell,
Yes.
Billy Oxenine.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Miss Pam?
Okay, so the next item we're looking at is a new grant. It's a small grant, but it's a start, and it's near and dear to my heart because it's the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration Tribal Training and Technical Assistance Center. It's called the SMAHSA TTAC Grant Budget. That's acronym for it. And if you'll note, we've been given $25,000, and it has been expensed as follows. Meeting expense is $3,400, because they're travel $1,000, contractual services $20,600. And I'll read from the sixth whereas. Whereas the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina has received a grant from the 3-Star Government Solutions LLC via SAMHSA of the United States Department of Health and Human Services in the amount of $25,000. And whereas the grant will be administered to work on the development, finalization, implementation, and sustainability of a community prevention plan / community sustainability plan to address and prevent mental and substance use disorders and suicide, and to promote mental health, and therefore be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be cited as the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Tribal Training and Technical Assistance Center grant budget, subject to all inclusions and provisions as described in the budget.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Nancy.
Palmer Fields,
Yes.
Alex Baker,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxenine,
Yes.
Doy McNeil,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Yvonne Dahl,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavous,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yes.
Grayla Mitchell,
Yes.
Billy Oxenine,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, last on the finance, Ms. Pam.
Okay, our last ordinance is a new grant as well. It is the USDA Forest Services CFP and LSR capacity grant budget. And before I give you the amounts, I'll read it first because it explains what it's for. I'm starting at the 6th whereas. Whereas the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina has received a grant from First Nations Development Institute via the United States Department of Agriculture in the amount of $12,000. And whereas the grant will be administered to develop a comprehensive plan for identifying historically significant properties within the Lumbee Tribal Territory and to prepare for a larger USD forestry grant, and therefore being enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be cited as the USDA Forest Services, CFP, and LSR capacity grant budget, subject to all inclusions and provisions as described in the budget. The budget is in the amount of $12,000. $10,000 will be for personnel and $2,000 for program supplies.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Bill?
Miss Pam, that personnel, is that a new position?
No, that's going to be someone within the agriculture department. As you can tell, it's not a large amount, and they're just going to be helping to identify, it'll be part-time. They'll have to do it in conjunction with everything else they're doing.
So if we got somebody already in there, why are we increasing the money for personnel?
Because we got a grant, and the grant specifies, we can't tell, when they give us money, they tell us how it is to be spent, and this is how they want it spent.
Right. Roll call, Ms. Nancy.
Homer Fields,
Yes.
Alex Baker,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxenine,
Yes.
Doy McNeil,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Yvonne Dahl,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavous,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Gerald Gooseby,
Yeah, yes.
Grayla Mitchell,
Yes.
Billy Oxenine.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That is the end of the committee reports. We'll move down to community comments. We have one that was emailed over today from Mr. Richard Jones, District 6. It says, "Good afternoon, Council. My question and community comment is, where did Council allocate the $50,000 that was removed from economic development?" So I know we're not supposed to answer or talk back on community comments, but I'm going to answer that tonight so we can get things cleared up about this $50,000 that's floating around. The money was never lost. The money was taken out of economic development. 25 was put to scholarships. The other 25 was used for the RES conference for economic development. So that's where the $50,000 was spent. All right, moving down. Next we have for community comments is from Scotland County, Mr. Joe with the Beta Club. And just a reminder, we have 3 minutes for community comments, but I'm sure we'll probably allot you about 4 or 5 tonight.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all having me tonight. I want to thank Ms. Josephine Doss for sending the invitation to me to come out tonight. And Speaker, thank you for explaining to me what the procedures were so that we'd be ready to go tonight. But as stated, I'm from Scotland High School, Laurinburg, North Carolina. I'm over at Beta Club, and this is Henry Colbert and Jack Herr, the 2 of our students. If you know anything about the Beta Club, we're a student-led organization. It's all about academics, and Scotland High School has the privilege to go to Savannah, Georgia this summer. We are going to present different aspects that we've taken and done, from anything from Spanish test, French test. We've got photography. We got, what else we got, Jack? Musicology. We've taken a test of musicology, book battle, which we actually won at the state level this year, and we'll be going to present that at the national level. But as you can tell, the problem always comes down to money. And it's one of those things, we've done several fundraisers, from selling popcorn to sending out the emails. We even had a car show last Saturday. We raised $900. And so I was speaking, and Miss Josephine is my aunt, and she was hearing me talk about it. She said, well, come and speak to the Lumbee tribe, see if they can help you. And so we're just coming to ask if there's any donations you can make towards our trip. It's about a $7,000 trip. It rounds out to about $500 a kid. We're taking about 15 children with us. That's, not including the adults and everybody else that's going on that trip. But I want to let Jack and Henry just kind of mention a little bit about what Beta Club is and what it means to them and what they're doing for this trip. So here you go, y'all.
Good evening. I'm Henry Colbert. On behalf of Scotland County Beta Club and Beta Clubs all over America, the importance of these trips is to build a network, to produce leaders, future council members in any realm of endeavor in life. And we go and we get with people and we learn about them. We learn about their Beta Clubs, and we learn about the different programs, and we give back to the community, and we go out and we do things such as the Special Olympics. There's an event coming up this Saturday. I think it's called the Touch Truck fundraiser for the kids. Things such as the park rebuild, the Edwin Morgan Complex in Laurinburg. I was a part of that myself. It provides a step stool to give back to the community that has given to us. And
my name is Jack Herr. I'm a senior. I've been with Beta Club since 4th grade, and being in high school, I am technically the community liaison, which my job is to go out and help fundraise for the club. So far this year, we've had a lot of success raising money, but then again, there's a lot of money to be raised, and it's just about working and earning and giving back to the community.
So, in closing, as Henry mentioned, the Beta Club is very involved in our community. If you know anything about Laurinburg, our park is near and dear to our heart. They call it Dragon Park. It was rebuilt this year. We were very involved in that. I was on the committee, and Beta Club was there almost every day helping rebuild. We were volunteered at Special Olympics. We volunteered for Relay for Life. and we're always involved in trying to find ways to give back to the community. Just as we ask them to give back to us, we try to give more than we take. And so that's one thing we look forward to, is doing as much as we can for the tribe if we need, or anyone else that asks for our help. We're there to help. And so we're just asking that, you know, if you found it in your hearts to give a little bit, that you please do. Anything helps. And I just want to say thank you for having me here, and I appreciate it. And thank you. And my number's on those documents they handed out. Oh, I'm sorry. We're leaving June 15th, and we'll be gone till the 19th. So let me reiterate, this is a trip that these kids they're giving their summers for this trip. So this is a week of their summer vacation. This is after school. So even these seniors who are graduating and will be going to college are still being involved in this trip for us.
Thank you for coming, and I'm sure some of the council will be reaching out to you. And I got your number, and we'll be giving you a call.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next we are going to move to the calendar review, but before we do that, Ms. Yvonne has a comment she wants to make.
I just have a concern with us as council members. We have been selected by our Lumbee members of all of our districts. And since I've been on this council, and this is my second term, I've never seen as many council members not coming to meetings. And that concerns me, because and some people say, I'm not on that committee, but when I think about what Mr. Rudy had to go through with, how in the world can you vote for anything or person when you don't know anything about them, and when we come to business meetings, you have to vote? And I'm here, and one of my major concerns was not necessarily to be on every committee, but to learn as much as I could. And we are representatives of our Lumbee tribe, and we need to be here to represent our people and do the best we can. And to not come to meetings, I know, and I haven't been to every meeting, but if I missed a meeting, it was because I had an emergency, or I was on another retreat, or something very important. I didn't just stay out just to be staying out. But we need to be here at these meetings. And I had a lot of sympathy for Mr. Rudy and what he had to go through with, and what we had to go through with as a committee. And I just have a concern about it, and I hope you just think about this and keep it in your heart that we're here to represent the people, not to just not come to a committee just because we're not serving on that committee. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Siobhan. Moving right along to calendar review. Well, for May, on May the 20th, we'll have District 12 community meeting at Evans Crossroad Fire Department at 6 o'clock. Then on the 28th of May, we had economic development at 6:30. Then on the 30th of May, we have District 7 community meeting back here at the Boys and Girls Club of Pembroke at 6:30. Is there anything else for the month of May? You have something for the month of May, Bill? All right. Moving right along to June, and let's just be mindful for June. You know, that's Lumbee homecoming towards the end of June, kicking off. We had the gala and the Warriors Ball. We had the Lumbee Tribe Gala on the 29th. And on the first week of June, the 3rd through the 7th, we have NCAI, the mid-year conference up at Cherokee. And I know we got 2 council members that's going to that. And then at the end of June, the 24th through the 27th, we have the night, which is the housing conference for that. So with that being said, for May, June, I'm sorry, June. Miss Nancy.
Finance, June the 4th, 6:30 finance, 7:30 housing.
So we got finance at 6:30 and housing at 7:30.
Mr. Speaker, these, June the 18th, District 2, We're doing that community meeting at 6:30 at Back Swamp Boys and Girls Club, District 2. At our community, 6:30.
All right, Mr. Beard and Miss Wendy.
Just as a reminder, Mr. Speaker, let's try not to schedule no meetings the week of our business meeting, because that's putting a lot of pressure on Belinda, and plus our dues and decorum says we supposed to get our papers 5 days before the meeting, and Belinda can't do it if we got meetings scheduled that week.
It says to the greatest extent. Miss Wendy?
I would like to schedule the Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee meeting for June 10th at 6:30.
Anybody else want to go on the 10th of June at the A&R?
Trying to do education at 7:30?
Yeah, education at 7:30. Okay. Mr. Baker?
At one of our meetings this week, correct me if I'm wrong, we did discuss having a workshop session. Is that still, or are we pushing that out to after homecoming?
That's, my committee. I'll be in touch with everyone and figure out when we can meet. We've got a lot going on.
All right, so again, we have A&R on June the 10th at 6:30, education at 7:30. Mr. Grayling, you have something you want to put on the calendar?
Mr. Speaker, I want to let everybody know tonight, on the 8th of June to the 13th of June, I'll be in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, so I don't need you to killing me out because I missed the meeting. That's the only reason I've been missing. Sound like you guys are killing me out. And then the 23rd to the 28th of June, we'll be down at another conference.
All right. Is there anything else for June that needs to be added to the calendar? Mr. Jody?
Just inform everyone that's having community meetings, Dr. Beasley and some of the folks on the health bus will be there at your event. It'll be the health clinic, the mobile clinic, and we will be giving out those tribal assessment surveys. So those are have to have some week numbers in your districts. Please make sure your folks fill those out. Thank you.
Miss Wendy?
And I'd like to invite everyone out on June 1st. We're going to have Prospect Community Day. And not only do we live in Prospect, we love living in Prospect. So y'all come out and have a good day with us. We're going to have all types of entertainment. We're going to have food vendors. We'll have games for the kids, all kind of competitions. We'll have gospel singing. So y'all come out and be with us.
I'm going to start 3 o'clock.
10 to 4. 10 to 4 at Prospect Volunteer Fire Department, the new one. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go over calendar review one more time for, so on June the 3rd at 6:30 we have finance, and at 7:30 we have housing. Okay, I'm sorry, so it'll be on the 4th, June the 4th. Finance at 6:30, housing at 7:30. Then on June the 10th, we have A&R at 6:30, education at 7:30. Then on the 18th, we have District 2 community meeting over at Back Swamp at, what's the name of that club? Soaring Eagle. No, it's Southern Spirit.
Southern Spirit.
They don't know what it is. They don't know what district it is. Southern Spirit.
You mean there's 2 of y'all and y'all don't know the name of y'all's Boys and Girls Club?
Boys, when Prospect goes to tell you what.
I was supposed to have been tested today for my memory and stuff, so I didn't go. So y'all forgive me.
We understand that. You shouldn't have missed that.
All right, getting back to the calendar. We have, on June the 13th, we have District 3 Community Meeting. That's Miss Pam and Mr. Harold. That's 6:30 at Soaring Eagle. And then that'll be at Forsby's Tribal Council. And then on the 20th of June will be the Tribal Council meeting.
And also, back in Kelly got that, all that stuff there.
I'm not reading all that. I'm not reading all that.
I'm just telling you something about it. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And after the adjournment, we need, benediction. Mr. Rudy?
Ms. Belinda, do you know anything about something on the 1st, June the 1st here at the Boys and Girls Club? Because I've got on my calendar, we're having a fashion show that day. Is that something we're involved in or not?
Yeah, that's LRDA.
So is the tribe getting tickets to go to that, or we, since it's our building? You gotta dress up really in high heels.
Fashion show.
All right, Mr. Bill?
Are we getting tickets for any of the pageants this time?
Mr. Ricky Harris is gonna come to the podium. Mr. Bill's question was, are we receiving any tickets for the pageants that's coming up?
Yes, the senior Miss Lumbee, you'll get tickets, and Miss Lumbee, you'll get tickets. I'm not sure, we'll have to check on that one, Rudy. That's going through LRDA, they're just using the building. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we purchase some with those that y'all buy?
Can you purchase tickets? You can, we already got them signed, you can buy you some, yeah. Which one you need to pull? Oh.
All right, and now Miss Wendy is gonna give us the reason of why we're wearing red. We can have that side talk after we pray.
Now it's when I was.
Miss Wendy's gonna go over.
I'm sorry, Miss Wendy.
Just an FYI, we ask that you wear red tonight to honor our missing and murdered Indigenous peoples during the month of May. And we had scheduled 2 events that got rained out both times. So hopefully, Ms. Yvonne is going to be working to do an event during Lumbee Homecoming at some point. But we wear red because we have people we have to be their voice. We have to represent them, and we have a vast amount of Indigenous people being murdered in our tribal territory and abroad. So we wear red so that there won't be any more stolen people, no more stolen sisters. We wear red because we love our people and we want to acknowledge that you are not forgotten.
We're gonna let Miss Siobhan, she's got one more comment, then we'll stand so into benediction.
So I can't make mine.
To add to Miss Wendy, we have been very passionate about this issue and this event. And I'll let you know too that I went out and raised over $9,000, and I just appreciate those of you who had contributed to that event. And as far as the billboard, we had the billboard up for several months last year, and so our money ran out. I went out and spoke and raised some more money, and so talked to Miss Tammy, Mr. Ricky, and Miss Belinda, and also Miss Karen Bird, and she's works with getting the billboards up. So we should have the billboard up again on 95. It may be, I think it's going north, and we'll have that billboard up again. It will be again up during the homecoming event, and also we'll have one on 211. We'll just have that one up for 1 month. So I thank everybody's support, and like I'm saying, this is a very, very important issue that really we need to be having a great concern about, and I'm just so happy that our our tribe itself is very passionate about this and want to support it also. Thank you.
Mr. Gerald, and then when everybody can stand for the
Yeah, I was trying to wait till everybody got through their calendar to make a comment. First of all, we're going to have a revival at our church, 3-night revival starting Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Everybody's welcome. And also, we're going to have a community day. I don't remember the date for that. I'll announce it. But also, I would like to encourage every committee chair to adhere to the rule of if you miss 3 meetings straight, that you're no longer on that committee, so we can narrow down some of these absentees and not have quorums when we discuss stuff. Thank you.
My question on that there is now, when y'all call and ask for excuse, it ain't doing you no good. Calling and ask for it be same from a meeting, then you get excused from, so that ain't gonna work neither.
Mr. Speaker.
Whatever the ordinance says.
And one more thing before we close out in prayer, Miss Kathy has her community meeting on the 6th of June at 6 o'clock at Union Chapel Church. Mr. Homer, lead us in prayer.
Shall